Hi, my name is John Concier. I'm a graduate of the class of 2004. Many of y'all know my dad, Bruce Concier, the coolest guy on campus. At least I think so. Well, I want to take a few minutes of your time today to talk to you about my time as a U.S. Army veteran and how that has helped build my faith throughout the years. Well, I graduated PC in 2004. I went to college for one semester. Midway through that semester of college, I thought to myself how I would be able to become a police officer, FBI agent, or something of the like a lot faster than just taking 4 years of college. So I decided to join the military and use that as my stepping stone. So I signed up for the Army and I left in January of 2005. Basic training was probably the hardest thing in my mind that I've had to do throughout this life. This is my first 9 weeks away from my parents. I've never been alone. And I was really left out there, being yelled at by some people, telling me I'm no good, I'm just as good as the dirt on the ground and all that stuff, and having people cuss at me right in my face and all that stuff, and it was no fun to me. Some people might have thought it was fun. I didn't. So I kept reading my Bible every night, as I didn't have time to call home. I got 5 phone calls in 9 weeks, or 3 phone calls for 5 minutes in 9 weeks. And the only real way of communication was by letter. So I read my Bible every night before I went to bed. And I came across Psalm 121, talking about how God is our helper in times when we need Him. That He's there to help us, and He's going to watch over us day in and day out. And so I took that verse to heart, and that really helped give me encouragement throughout those 9 weeks as I struggled to be on my own. After I graduated from boot camp, I went to AIT, Advanced Individual Training, at Fort Huachuca, which was training me on my job. After I graduated there, I deployed in November of 2005 for my first deployment to Iraq. Throughout my time in Iraq, my first 2 months there, my grandma had passed away, and that was a very difficult time as we were working 12-hour shifts. After working 12-hour shifts, you get a Red Cross letter telling you your grandma passed away, and there's nothing I could do. And that was a huge struggle for me, as I got the next 2 hours off of work and I had to come back in for another 12-hour shift the next day. And so I struggled in finding a way to kind of move on from there, and I never got to tell my grandma I loved her before she passed away, and that was hard on me, and so I had to grow, and the only way to grow and when you struggle is when you come to God, and He helps guide me through. And so I found out that even in the darkest of times, it's those times when the light shines the brightest. And so I moved on from there, and I continued reading my Bible, and I've been growing in my faith throughout that whole year. And then I moved on. I came back in November of 2006. Then I faced more peer pressures and more distractions from the military and my friends there that just kind of took me off of the spiritual growth I've had over that whole year. And that was a very difficult time, peer pressure is one of the hardest things to overcome, especially when a lot of those friends are close friends of yours, and you went to war with them, and it was hard for me to overcome that. And so I struggled in my faith that whole year back, and then I got deployed again and in late November. And so I went over for a 15-month deployment, but that time I told myself that when I come back from this deployment, I'm not going to struggle again like I did before. And so I really took into reading my Bible. I started sending out daily Bible verses in an email to a bunch of my Christian friends that I had met in the Army. And we even started a Bible study overseas. And we got together once or twice a week. We studied the Bible, or we watched a movie together. And our faith really just took off. And we were able to talk to other people who hadn't grown. We got people in our Bible group we had no idea would even join our Bible group. and it was amazing what God would do in a time where you think that God wouldn't even be in a country like that. And overseas in Iraq, where people were killing each other, and you wouldn't think that God would be there, and yet He was moving in all of us, and it was a wonderful thing to see. And then I got back and I got out of the military in 2009, and between that time of 2009 when I got out and now, I met my beautiful wife down in Central Texas in Austin, and now we have a 6-month-old son who is probably the cutest baby in the world, and we're so blessed at this moment in life. We've been married for 2 years, and I just joined the police academy over here in Austin, Texas, and I've been in training for 3 months, and I'm sure that the struggles in our faith will continue to come at us, as Satan wants to get a foothold in all of our lives, and he wants to take over and stop what God is doing in our lives, and that's his whole goal. And so if there's any way you can pray for me, just pray for me and my family. As the job I'm doing now is a very time-consuming job, a very stressful job, and I know I need God, and when you know you need God, that's when God shows His face the most. And so I just come to terms with that, and I hope y'all don't have to go through too much trouble before you figure that out. And I hope y'all take to heart that you need God now before it comes later and you have to face all those troubles. Well, I just want to say thank you for listening to me. Once again, I'm John Concier. I served with the U.S. Army for 4 years. Thank you.